Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to Build Auto. Today I actually was working on MR2 with the coil pack conversion, and sorry my nose itches, but I actually, ever since I've done it, my tach doesn't work anymore. So I wanted to figure out a way to make it work, and the only thing I could think of was using like something like a transistor or buying an MSD tach adapter or something like that, and I didn't want to spend that money on there. It just, to me, I want to be able to do it myself. So I did look up a little bit and try to see what other people's ideas were. A couple of people did have this same idea that I was thinking about, except I was going to tear apart an old burned up amp that I had for a subwoofer. So whenever I did that, I realized I had good transistor that I could use, which would be the right one. So I took, let me see if I can find it. Alright, here is the transistor. I don't know if you can read those numbers or not, probably not, but it's a 2N555 transistor, 3-prong. The one prong right here is broke off, but you have your collector, base, and then the last one that's supposed to be there is your emitter. Well, I realized if I took a relay, this one actually has, I don't know if you can see it in there, maybe I get a good view, but it has a resistor in there, and that resistor is a 1/4 watt. When I don't know exactly what percentage it is, but I realized I could take and knock the two big prongs off, which would be the 30 and the 87, which would be like your main two if you're using the relay for like kicking on a fuel pump or headlights or something like that. Well, you remove those, remove the actuator tab, which usually has the pin that clicks it on. So you remove those two, and you would hook up your transistor, so that way you would have the collector, the emitter, and the base hooking up. And I drew a diagram to show you kind of how I did it. If I can find my board. Alright, so I made this right here. So this is your transistor, this is your relay. So on the transistor, like I was just showing you a second ago, you have your collector, you have your base, and you have your emitter. So on the emitter part, you're going to run it to a ground. The input would be your input from like your igniter or from your ECU, which I'm running the Mega Squirt MS2. And then your collector would go to your tach. But you still need a 12-volt source to feed that so it can get its square wave off of, which is what's going to help this thing counteract that. So you're going to hook your emitter up to your ground, you're going to hook your input up from your Mega Squirt, your collector is going to go to your relay. Since on your relay you're only going to have numbers 85 and 86 left, because those are the two that run through the coil and through that resistor. So on 85 you're going to run it through the 12-volt system, and 86 is where on the inside you want to hook up your transistor, the collector, to the inside of it, which, as this is just a demo right here, you can see I kind of set it right there, but on my other one I soldered it to that. So since that terminal is on the back side of that resistor on there, it'll give you your pattern that you need. And then you would hook your 12-volt ups right here, and with doing so, then this right here is not the transistor I'm using. This is just a big one, so I can show you for demo. You might be able to use this one, but realistically you can't, because it will not work properly. So doing so, you can take with the smaller transistor, as I'll show you right now, once you break these two big terminals off, you notch the base or the relay, then you can take the little transistor and mount it right inside there and have the wires feed out. So in doing so, you would have it going out like this, and you would have your tack wire right there, which is this white one that would go to your tack. You would have the white wire, which would be your input from your ECU or your igniter or whatever you're using to do that. Then on the far left side right here, you would have your 12-volt source, which is the terminal I'm touching now. And then you would have your base right here, which is your input. Since you have your output, which is that white one, you have your input, which is your white one. These are both input and output of your tachometer. And then this one right here is the emitter, which is going to your ground. I actually built one. I built one already. I tested it out. I had a video earlier actually doing a better review of this, but the video crashed. Let me get the light. Alright, so shitty fucking video, but alright. As you can see, I don't have the ground hooked up, which is kind of odd. It actually works really good without it. I was trying to figure that out myself, but other than that, I'll show you right now where that is what's connecting everything. Since, as you can see, the coil packs that I ran, I made a whole harness for. They came off of a Nissan Altima 3.5 liter. As you can see where the tack is working now, it's very responsive. It actually works just how the stock would. The only downfall I noticed earlier was when I got to high RPM, I did lose, I guess I lost my square away from it, but I will diagnose that later. But this is just kind of my preview to show you. So anybody else that's done a coil pack conversion, like on a Miata, a Honda Civic, anything that originally had your ground wire, your ground VE wire from your coil when you had a single coil, that was your kick-on wire. So without that, you would have no square wave anymore to feed your tack. So this is to redo it, and here is my second drawing right here showing you of your relay and your transistor together. So your transistor will mount inside the box, so you can still put the top back on it, seal it up. And so here's your 85, your 86 terminals on the relay, which is the big box. Transistor's a little. That's going to be your coil wire inside the relay, and that's going to be the resistor. So you're going to run, like I said before, your emitter, which is going to the ground, which is the far left. Your input, which is the base, is the middle, so that's your input from your tack, whether it's from your distributor, from your ECU, your having a brain fart, your igniter, and then you got your collector going to your tachometer. Alright, since that's going to your tack, you're going to hook it up like I showed you before to the inside. Let me show you again real quick, just kind of help people get a great idea. So when you want to do this yourself, it helps you out and you're not sitting there struggling like I was trying to figure this out. But so I'll show you the view of it. Alright, so here's your output right here going to this, going to the transistor, which, let's say you got your transistor mounted inside. Once again, this is not the transistor we're using, but it's hard to do it one-handed. But see, that's where you got that, and you'd mount it together and you'd fit it right in the original cover, which would be this transistor since it's so tiny. And your input wire, remember your middle is your input, so that's coming from your ECU. The 86 is going to your output, to your tag. But if you have an old blown up subwoofer amplifier or something like that, you can usually, a lot of times, not all the times, they will have those transistors in there, but a lot of times it will. Like here is DB audio, I think it's something like that. See, DB audio or some amplifier like that. And as you can see, all the little transistors that I actually have on this board, there's a couple that are a little odd, but for the most part, these are, you can see the way this one is reversed, that's a different transistor. These other ones are the 55 Ns, which you can unsolder these, pull them out, and there's your transistor. And for the relay, any basic 4-prong relay, an OE one, will work.